Revealed 3 syndicates behind Tembisa hospital looting and staggering opulence. 50 firefighters in action as Camps Bay burns after another fire outbreak in the CBD. And beyond the stars, South Africa's telescopes reshaping our image. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Embattled crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo has provided more insight into a sophisticated organized criminal syndicate labeled as the Big Five. The cartel, which he claims is based in Gauteng, is allegedly involved in various sectors of organized crime, including drug trafficking, hijackings, tender fraud, and contract killings. He places Katiso, Katie Molefe, and Vusimuzi Kat Matlala at the bottom of the list within the Big Five criminal network, suggesting far more dangerous underworld figures form part of the network.
Well, that was the wrap of crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo's testimony here at the Madlanga Commission today, but that's not the last that we're going to hear from him. Tomorrow he'll pick up from his testimony where he left off today. And it was crucial where he left off today. Just before we concluded at 4 p.m, he started name dropping and listing several names of evidence that they have in their possession of messages between 5 people and Vusimuzi Kat Matlala. Vusimuzi Kat Matlala, of course, we know, tenderpreneur, alleged underworld figure. Essentially, Dumisani Khumalo is listing 5 names, and that of Brown Mokhotsi, who he claims has received money from Kat Matlala, but he doesn't allude to whether that money was for funding purposes for the Minister of Police and the ANC, but suggests that Brown Mokhotsi has been involved in the funding of the Police Minister and the ANC, not making links as to whether Kat Matlala was involved in funding the minister or the ANC. Another name that has come out is that of KZN DPCR head, and this is Major General Lesetja Sinona and his son Tato. This is the first time we've heard Lesetja Sinona's name pop up in the commission following the allegations made by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhonazi. Lesetja Sinona is alleged to have provided confidential information to Vusimuzi Kat Matlala, and this is due to his son, Tato Sinona, having business ventures with Vusimuzi Kat Matlala. That's the picture that Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo painted for us here this afternoon. Another name that has featured in the past is that of acting EMPD chief, and that is Julius Mkhonazi. We know that the Ekurhuleni Council is currently sitting to discuss whether they're going to suspend him or not, and what the decision is going to be taken on him after allegations surfaced, not just here in the commission, but previously in the media, that Julius Mkhonazi is a close associate of Vusimuzi Kat Matlala and had fitted his private vehicles, this is Kat's vehicles, with blue lights, and had also registered several of Kat's private security vehicles to the Ekurhuleni Council in Metro. We also heard the name of another businessman from the Northwest, and that of Suleiman Karim, and his name has popped up in the past before, and we're yet to understand how he plays or fits into this whole picture, but we know that he does have influence with senior police officials and politicians, and it's suggested or alleged that Vusimuzi had used his links with Suleiman Karim to get him around the table with some of these business people, politicians and cops. Another name that had popped up is that of Calvin Rafferty, and he is a private investigator. He has in the media in the past come out to say that he does know Kat Matlala. They have had exchanges in the past, but to the extent that that's being painted by Dumisani Khumalo here, we're yet to see what sort of relations he had with Vusimuzi Kat Matlala. So a lot coming out towards the tail end of his testimony on the first day this afternoon on Monday, and we're expected to hear a lot more in the coming days. For Eyewitness News, I'm Arun Singh in Pretoria.
The Special Investigating Unit has revealed that 2 billion rand has been siphoned from Tembisa Hospital through dodgy tenders. The SIU has released an interim report into corruption at the facility, first flagged in 2021 by whistleblower Babita Diakoran, who was assassinated outside her home in Winchester Hills that same year.
When Babita Diokaran flagged irregular tenders at the Tembisa hospital, she'd identified about 800 million rand in fraudulent activities. The Special Investigating Unit's probe has revealed that amount sits at 2 billion rand, with 3 major syndicates behind the looting. SIU head advocate Andy Motibi says one of the alleged looters, a man named Hangwani Morgan Malmela, who's believed to have been working with dodgy businessman Vusmuzi Kat Matala, scored over 800 million rand in tenders from the hospital. The unit has also revealed another businessman, Rudolf Mazibugo, also ran a syndicate and allegedly scored 283 million rand, while an unidentified man scored almost 600 million rand. The SIU has also identified smaller syndicates alleged to have looted between 9.6 million rand and 28,000 rand. Khomzo Modise, Eyewitness News in Tembisa.
Suspended Gauteng NPA head Andrew Chauke will face an inquiry into his fitness for office. He was suspended in July, nearly 2 years after NPA boss Shamila Batoy first sought disciplinary action. Chauke, in the post since 2011, has faced repeated claims of shielding the politically connected, including dropping a murder case against Richard Ndluli and pursuing racketeering charges against Johan Boyson's Cato Manor unit, despite scant evidence.
The inquiry will look into certain serious allegations regarding Advocate Chauke's fitness and propriety to hold office as a Director of Public Prosecutions and as a member of the National Prosecuting Authority.
And they wait and wait. Hundreds of EFF supporters have gathered outside the East London Magistrates Court where Julius Malema awaits judgment in his firearm discharge case. The 3-year trial stems from the 2018 Mdatsani rally where Malema is accused of firing a rifle in front of supporters. He faces charges under the Firearms Controls Act but insists it was only a toy gun with no live rounds.
What many in the EFF thought would be a quick judgment day for their leader, Julius Malema, turned into 7 hours of them waiting and him sitting in the dock the entire day. Malema appeared in the East London Magistrates Court today for judgment in his firearm discharge case. However, Malema doesn't have his judgment as of yet, and only tomorrow will the court hand down judgment in this case. Malema today appeared in court and the presiding judge gave him a recap of all the evidence and testimonies that have been presented since the commencement of the trial. And the judge says this is important because he wants to give him context as to why the court reached the decision that it reached with regards to judgment. So only tomorrow will we come here and see judgment in this regard. For Eyewitness News, I'm Alfa Ramushwana in East London.
Firefighters have been battling a wildfire in Camps Bay near the pipe track this afternoon. At least 50 firefighters have been deployed. Sandpark spokesperson Charles Pahlane says several trails above the 12 Apostles and pipe track are closed.
Aerial support has been activated with a helicopter en route from George. This helicopter is expected to arrive within 2 hours to assist with water bombing operations. The helicopter that is currently airborne is the nearest available air firefighting resource at this time of the year.
In the CBD, a blaze at a building on Hunts Stradom and Bree Street has been contained. Crews from Rowland Street and Salt River responded just after midday.
The fire was located in the external ventilation ducting system. Firefighters managed to access it so that active firefighting could take place.
Warning that this story contains graphic details. A child rapist has been sentenced to life in prison in the Thembaletu Regional Court in George. 55-year-old Ian Hoggins was sentenced today after being convicted for child rape, sexual assault and illegal possession of 124 child pornographic images. NPA says the state proved Hoggins raped a 3-year-old girl before taking photographs of her naked body.
The victim, who is the youngest to have testified in a case, testified when she became 4 years old and testified for 4 consecutive days, including rigorous cross-examination. The court convicted the accused and sentenced him to an effective life imprisonment.
Could PA's Gayton McKenzie be out of a job tomorrow? Possibly. The party is demanding the reinstatement of Kenny Kunene as Joburg's transport MMC after he stepped down 2 months ago. Kunene was found at Katiso Katie Molefe's house during the Kingpin's arrest for the murder of Opa Sefoka, probably known as DJ Sambodi. An investigation has since cleared Kunene of any wrongdoing, corroborating claims he was accompanying a journalist on a story. Mackenzie says Kanene's position could be the breaking point for the coalition, threatening to relinquish his job as Sports, Arts and Culture Minister tomorrow if the matter isn't resolved before then.
No, that's not good enough for us. Our deal is not he will be a councillor. Our deal is he will be MMC of Roads and Transport. If Tuesday, Kenny Kunene is not being told he's going back, I will resign. And not only be, the whole PA, all the speakers, everyone, we will have a mass exodus.
US President Donald Trump hosts Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House today for high-stakes talks on a Gaza peace deal. Families of Israeli hostages have urged Trump to push through his plan, warning Netanyahu has sabotaged past agreements. Trump's proposal calls for an immediate ceasefire, Israeli withdrawal and the release of hostages within 48 hours in exchange for Israel freeing more than 1,000 Palestinian prisoners. South Africa's telescopes are doing much more than just scanning the universe. They're changing how the world sees the country. In the Karoo Desert, scientists have built the Meerkat telescope with 64 dishes, now being incorporated into the larger square kilometre array, which will include 197 dishes.
The Meerkat and SKA telescopes in the Karoo are scanning the skies for what scientists call technosignatures, signs that intelligent life might exist beyond Earth. Built in a radio-quiet zone, far from cities and signal interference, the Karoo is one of the places on Earth where astronomers can listen this deeply into space. South African Radio Astronomy Observatory Managing Director Poncho Maruping explains.
We actually have instruments that we host here that take signals from our telescope, analyze it more broadly, and they are looking for what we call technosignatures. So with the understanding that if there's intelligent life, they are going to need some sort of technology to survive.
So far, she says, there have been false alarms, but if any telescope is going to make the discovery, it will most likely be from South Africa's desert. Kaylee Morgan, Eyewitness News, Carnarvon, Northern Cape.
Don't forget to download the EWN app, and we'll see you for more again tomorrow.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.